Well, it's been a year and a day since my beloved died. Actually, by now, almost a year and 2 days. Um, and I know in this timeline, he wasn't what most people would consider maybe the best or the greatest character. But we all know we have other timelines of ourselves. Even as sweet as I could be or not in this timeline, there are timelines where I could be like, you definitely wouldn't want to get anywhere near me. Let's face it, we all have that in our, we all have like endless timelines and realities of ourselves where we're any and everything. And the other day, early Wednesday morning, I had the best experience ever. I always forgave Eric for the way that he was, my late fiance. When I found out that, that he was possibly with other people, obviously he was. I shouldn't even say possibly. And that even darker possibilities. But I know that we all come here to learn, and we shouldn't judge each other or anything. And so, so I just simply let it go and forgave him. And I knew that we were whatever we were while he was here, and I'm not going to take away from that. And I know people probably think, I'm nuts for thinking that way, but that's just how I do it. So but the other day, Wednesday, it was early Wednesday morning, because I think y'all know by now that we just Skyped. But we Skyped a lot, and like we knew a lot. We talked to each other a lot. We never got to physically be in each other's presence. Which always made me envy the people who got to be in his presence, but I didn't take away from them either, because they had their rights to be, so it wasn't like I was jealous, though, really. That early Wednesday morning, I had an actual experience, and I won't go into all the details because I really can't, but I'll just make it short and say that I was not alone. I was with a group of people, but I won't say anything other than that. But I was really there. I was at this building. I know it, and I knew it was in England. This other person knocked at this door, had some business with someone in there. And this guy answered, opened the door and didn't recognize him. But he saw me, and then he said, Eric. And Eric, my late fiance, well, he wasn't dead in this was another timeline. And he was there. He was really there. And I was so, wow, and he came and he helped me up these stairs, because there was like some stairs and a porch, into this big room. And I was thinking, I'm really touching and feeling his hand. And his hand felt smooth and warm and nice. And I just thought, wow. And even if it would have just ended there, it would have been something. We didn't really talk. I think we said a few words, and then he went somewhere else. It's like, this was like 20, like he was 20 years or more younger than he was when he passed on. So I don't really know if he even recognized me. It was like a past, but it was was another timeline than what he was in. I already knew that. He's probably still alive in that timeline. I remember looking down and I saw like an advertisement papers, and it had his picture on it, and he was like a comedian in a club, and I remember thinking, wow, because I remember mentioning to him in this timeline he was in before that he was funny enough to be a comedian. He said, yeah, I probably could do that. But in this timeline, he really did do that. He was really opening up and it was an advertisement for him being a comedian in a club. In this timeline, he mostly did the singing, but he was also really funny, and he could have been a comedian. So it wasn't unbelievable. So it was great to know that, and I remember going up to him before we left and saying it was really nice to meet you, even though I already knew him, but he didn't know I knew him, So, and then I left, but he probably was like in his mid to late 30s or something, and he was like 58 when he passed on. So it was 20-some years in the past, but it was amazing. It was amazing. And it helped me a lot, And I just somehow know in that timeline, and I'm sure in many other timelines, he was as great as I always thought he was, and more, And I know there are timelines that we are together. And, he's the most trustworthy, truthful, loyal, loving person ever. So I just have to know that those things are out there, and it was amazing. I knew I couldn't stay in that timeline, but being there for a short time, and I remember when we first started talking in this timeline, he always said that it was like he knew me. Well, maybe that I went into the 20 years in the past in another timeline, it sort of filtered through and he felt like he did know me. And it can happen that way, I know it can, so anyway, I just wanted to say that, and want to wish everyone a happy weekend, even though the weekend's half over, a wonderful Sunday, and a start of the week ahead. So, yes, over and out.